Hi, my name is Lauren Burke from Long Island Girl Talk,
Hi, my name is Gabriela Henriquez from Long Island Girl Talk,
and today we will be interviewing Sylvia Cabana.
who is running for Town of Hempstead Clerk.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Cabana, and I am running for Town of Hempstead Clerk.
Can you tell your audience who you are?
Yes, I'm running. I'm a candidate for the Town of Hempstead Clerk. I am a mother of two children. I'm an immigration attorney. I have been an attorney for 20 years, and I've always been interested in government, and I decided that I wanted to run for office because I want to see some positive changes in my community.
Okay. What makes you qualified for this job?
Okay, so what is town clerk is probably it's a good question. Town clerk is the keeper of vital records. So I would be the keeper of vital records for the town of Hempstead. Vital records meaning like marriage certificates, death certificates, birth certificates. There's also a passport agency. Town clerk also issues permits. So like building permits, permits for dogs, all sorts of different permits. So basically it's a keeper of vital records. Um, what you wanted to know?
Why you are qualified?
Why
for
I'm
this job?
qualified. Okay, so as an immigration attorney, which I've been an immigration attorney for 20 years, I deal with vital records all the time. Whenever you go to immigration court, any type of case involving trying to legalize your permanent status here, your status in the United States, you are always required to show a birth certificate or a marriage certificate. I deal with passports all the time, so I'm very familiar with these types of vital records. Also, the fact that I speak Spanish. My mom is Cuban, my dad was Argentinian, so that makes me uniquely qualified to be able to deal with a lot of people in the town of Hempstead.
Yes. If you win, what are the first three things you are going to do?
The first three things. Well, what's very important for a town clerk is you have to make the vital records accessible to the people, and it has to be transparent. That's very important too. Right now, sometimes people have a lot of trouble getting access to these documents. So I would do everything in my power to try and make these documents easily available to people. How do you do that? By getting them more online, getting them digitized. I think that's very important. I would want to make sure that that it's serving all of the community. We have a very diverse community here in the town of Hempstead. Of course, we have many Spanish-speaking people, but we also have people from all over the world. So we have to make sure that all these people are able to access the records. How can we do that? We'll have different people, speaking the languages in the office, but also have services where we could possibly call to have an interpreter on the phone to help these people. I think that would be very important. I also, we have to make sure that our computer programming, because a lot of things are digitized, a lot of documents are digitized, but we want to get more things digitized. We want things to be easier. I mean, like your generation, you guys do everything on the phone. You're so good with the internet. I'm not as good. I'm trying to catch up to you guys, but I know even little kids, they're on the phone. They know how to do everything.
Yes.
So why not make as much as we can available online? There's right now you probably see you get a lot of these political mailers, right, from all the candidates.
Yes.
All those mailings, those mailings, the taxpayer is paying for those things. There's no reason. A lot of those things we could ask the taxpayers, do you want to have this mailer, or would you prefer to get it via email? Check off the box. Why not get them, just send the mailers via email? And maybe we could send a few hard copies of mailers, but we could cut the price down and reduce the budget and save them money for more vital services. There's a lot of things our community needs. Things for children, things for the elderly, things for our veterans. So that would be a top priority of mine also. And as well, I want to do a lot of community outreach. That's very important to me. So as an immigration attorney, and I deal a lot with the Central American community, I see that sometimes they don't know where to go to get information. I have clients sometimes, for instance, that the children, small children, maybe 4 or 5 years old, but they're not talking, right? Like I know because my son needed special services. that child is eligible for early intervention. Get them speech therapy. They could get all that stuff through their schools, through things. But sometimes the parents, maybe because they don't have legal status here, they're afraid. They don't know where to go to get the information. Also, we need to get into the schools more. We need to tell the kids how dangerous it is to be drinking and the drugs. They need to know at a young age, because when you start those habits when you're young, God forbid you keep doing those things, by the time you're 20, 25, 30, you're on a really bad path, and it's hard to get off of that path. So we need to work hard with our youth and set them on a path to success. That would be very important to me.
Do women running for office face special challenges, and what are they?
Yes, women running for office do face special challenges. Why? Because there's not a lot of women in government at all. We need more women. We need you guys. We need you guys in the future to run for office. Women, we're not well represented by all these men, right? It's important for women to get involved. There's so many things that directly affect us, and we need to have that voice in government. It's very important. But it's hard. Why? Because you'll see, as you guys get older, you can ask your moms, right? It's very difficult to, as a woman, you want to get married, you want to have children, but you want to have your career too. Study hard, have your career. You want to have your own money, right? No matter what, we marry Prince Charming, but still, you want to have, you want to make sure that you have your job. Something could happen to Prince Charming. My father used to tell me, he would tell me in Spanish, your prince could die. You better study hard and make sure that you have your own career. So, but, as women, so we want to have we study hard, we want the career, but we want children too. So you have to balance, you have to take care of your children, but you want the career. So it's doubly hard, because still, women, we've come a long way, but still that the house and the children often falls on the woman. But yet it's super important for women to get involved in government, because I think we have unique skills as women, right? I think we're very patient. I think we're problem solvers. We know how to multitask, right? Ask your moms over there. I'm sure, they make sure they get their kids ready.
Yeah.
They got, make sure you guys are good in school, and then they go to work, and then you guys have all these activities, and you got to come home and get you to this class and that class, make sure your homework is done, right?
Yeah.
So we learned, we multitask. So those are skills that, are very important. And we, not only when we make decisions do we use our brain, we're smart, but we use our hearts, and being a mother makes you, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about life. You learn a lot about what's important. So more women should definitely get involved, and you guys should absolutely be involved.
Okay. Should more Hispanic become involved in politics, and why?
Absolutely. Did you know that 17% of people in Nassau County identify themselves as Hispanic? 17%. Yeah, I know. When I heard that statistic, I couldn't believe it. But obviously, Hispanic, Latin America, Central America, it's huge. You could say, maybe someone's from El Salvador, they're Hispanic. I identify myself as Hispanic, as Latina. My father was from Argentina, my mother's Cuban. I was born in Puerto Rico, I was born here, but I identify myself as Latina. So since there's so many people here in Nassau County, right, that speak Spanish and identify themselves as Hispanic, they need a voice in government. They need somebody who speaks their language, who understands their culture. It's important. And actually, that's one of the reasons I have a lot of support from minority communities, because they like the fact that I speak Spanish and that I could represent them. People, you need a voice in government, and it's also important for everyone to vote, because that's the only way you're going to have a voice. So yes, definitely more.
Tell me about a project or accomplishment that you consider to be most significant in your career.
Most significant in my career. Well, just as an immigration attorney, I've helped a lot of people. I've helped a lot of people to get their green cards. There's people sometimes that for they could like 20 years and they don't have legal status. They don't have their papers. They're not able to go home to visit their countries, to visit their, so sometimes they come to me and they're so sad. And they're so desperate, they want the American dream, but they need to be legalized. They need to, So, on several occasions, I've had the honor that, in one case in particular, it was a mother, a father, two children, and I got them all their green cards, and it's a good feeling because they're very happy. I often, people, they get their citizenship and everything, and they're so happy when they're citizens, they can vote. So, probably in my career, I've helped a lot of people to get there, to be legal here and to achieve the American dream. So that makes me happy.
Who is your role model and why?
Okay, so I would say my role model would probably be my grandmother. My grandmother was from Cuba, and so she would always tell me this story, back in 1937, right, she was pregnant with my uncle. And, she came from a good family, and everybody would tell her in Spanish, esta no va a terminar su carrera. She's not going to finish her career. Forget it. She's not, she's pregnant. She's not going to finish. And she would tell me the story, and she would get like, and she'd be like, yo voy a terminar esa carrera. So she told me the story. She was like pregnant out to here, but she took, I guess, the equivalent of a bar exam in Cuba, and she passed, and she became an attorney. And, actually, she also said, she became, but apparently her aunt, even a generation before, was one of the first female attorneys in Cuba. But in any event, it was a man's world, 1937, obviously. Mm-hmm. But she, and people, she demanded respect, and she was very proud, that she had achieved that and she had become an attorney. And she always told me how important it was for me to study hard. And it was my grandmother. I adored her so much. I wanted to be just like her. So that's pretty much what set me. My friends' mothers tell me that, I was little and I would walk in and say, I'm going to be a lawyer, So I think it was my grandmother. They were all brainwashing me. So that's what she would be my role model.
What's the most interesting thing about you that we wouldn't learn from your resume mm-hmm. alone?
Most interesting thing about me. I would say it's my background probably. So I live in Garden City. I grew up in Garden City. So Garden City, a lot of people would say that it's not as diverse. Back when I moved to Garden City in 1972, and I only spoke Spanish. I didn't speak any English. So my mom put me in kindergarten in, there, and they were like, what's wrong with her? How come she's not talking? And it's like, well, she only speaks Spanish. So I picked up the Spanish. I picked up the English, obviously being in kindergarten there. And I was always taught that, to be proud of my background. So even though like a lot of the kids in my class, they were all, very Irish or Italian. I remember doing like a family tree, and some people could trace their ancestors back to like the Mayflower. And then, my friends, they came over to look at my family tree, and I was like, about, when, your family came to the United States, and I was like, 1961, JFK Airport, and they were like laughing at me, like, oh, like, what? I'm like, yeah, what? I'm like, that's my father came, 1961, my mother came to Miami from, like, I explained it to them. So I love hearing everyone's stories, like, because we're a land of immigrants here. We all have a story, right? About how your family came here, and wherever you're from, whatever part of the world you're from, you should be proud, even if, maybe I was the only Spanish person in the room, it doesn't matter. I was proud, and I made sure that people knew, that, who I was and where I was from. And even though, for Garden City, it was a little bit different. Like people, when we started taking Spanish, the kids were like, how does she know Spanish? What? I want to sit next to her. I want her to help me with my Spanish, mm-hmm. because nobody else spoke Spanish. And then, they started learning, because people, unless you're educated, unless you're exposed to different cultures, there's no reason that you would know about it. So when I was in school, very much focused on European and British American. Now there's more world history. Like you guys are probably learning more about different parts of the world, as it should be, because this is a very it's an international world. So in order to be successful, I think people should know about we should know about different parts of the world, and we should know something about all these cultures. So I think my background and my experience is something that you wouldn't be able to tell from my resume, but I made me who I am.
What are the challenges we face in Nassau community?
In our community here, Gosh, I think we face a lot of challenges here. Obviously, ask your parents, like, the taxes are outrageous. The taxes, it's so expensive to live here, to the point where, people, like your generation, it's going to be really hard for you to stay here. I mean, we have to find more high-paying jobs on Long Island in order for people to be able to afford to live and to stay on Long Island. I mean, you can't buy a house here for, I mean, what, like, it's 500,000, like it's a lot of money, and for, your generation, in order to get, set with a job and be able to find a place, like a lot of kids, they're, older than you guys, but they go to college, but then they come back and they live with mom and dad for a long time, because it's so expensive. Like, where are they going to go? Even a rent here is so expensive. So I know that a lot of, we're proposing a lot of, like the county executive or current, the candidates are proposing how important it is to develop downtown areas, right? So let's say, there's a train station, wherever, Baldwin, whatever town, make sure that the area around it is more developed and has more businesses and has places to live, because that will, attract people, and hopefully also attracting like big Fortune 500 companies to come here, so that there just more jobs are created, so that we can make this a more, thriving, economy, and, help young people to get good jobs. Also, we have, big drug epidemic here. We have a big problem with people, with young children, not young children, but I mean teenagers and stuff, and getting, involved with drugs and overdosing. So again, I think that's a lot has to do with, we need to educate the youth. We need to get into the schools when they're, like, I remember when I was young, like even like junior high, definitely by high school, there was a big movement. It was like students against drunk driving, mothers against drunk driving, because there was this huge accident where there was a van full of kids, and they were, they were drunk, they had been partying or whatever, and the driver of the van decided that, he would be able to, get over, the train track, the railing was crossing, and he was drunk, his judgment was impaired, and he went through, and the train hit that whole van full of kids. This happened, it was a lot of Garden City, kids. So of course the mothers were, obviously were devastated. So back then, there was this huge movement against drinking and driving. So to the point where we were petrified. We knew, like, you don't drink and drive, right? Because it's, obviously it's dangerous. You guys all, that's all. But so we need to start like a big movement with drugs and stuff as well. Because I know sometimes too that young children, you're getting prescribed like these medicines and everything. A lot of these things are addictive. Painkillers and stuff. I think a lot of those things should be obviously if you're in a lot of pain, but there has to be a clear end to stop taking them, because sometimes people get addicted to it, and then that just causes other problems and other drug addictions. So we need to get into the schools and and educate the kids, how important it is, and to take care of yourself and your health, because the decisions you're making, when at your age, you don't realize it, but it's important, and it's going to set a tone for the rest of your life. Because if you get involved with the wrong crowd, or you start drinking too much, or not good. You're in school, you're there, you want to learn, you want to work hard, you want to make your parents proud, because they work really hard. And if you do that and you get good grades and you go to a good college, you're setting yourself up for success. So it's important that we get in there. That's our responsibility to you guys, is to to be able to teach you to have, you work hard and you do everything that you can, but we hopefully can help to provide you with as many opportunities as possible so you can achieve your goals and your dreams.
I'm too young to vote. What can I do to make a difference in my community?
Well, yeah, of course you're too young to vote, but you can do a lot to make a difference in your community. You speak Spanish, right?
Yes.
Right. So you could help. You could go and help with the children who maybe don't speak any English. You could help them. You could tutor them. You could read to them. You can volunteer in a lot of different organizations. There's so much. There's so many things you could do. You can get involved with all different organizations, even like what you're doing. What you're doing now, and being on this show, and just helping. Helping other people. You can volunteer in hospitals. You can, babysitting. You could do all sorts of babysitting. You could go to the schools and see, what helping. You can donate toys to maybe daycare centers and stuff. A lot of them, they don't have a lot of toys, or you could start collections of stuff. There's so many different things that you can do. But just the fact that you're thinking about it is so important, because it shows that you want to help people, and that's a good thing. That's a good value to have, and something hopefully that'll carry you through until you become an adult, is community service and helping people, because that's very important.
Yeah. As the first Hispanic woman running for Hempstead, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. If I had a superpower, I wish I could see into the future. I wish I was able to know how things were going to turn out, or if I'm this way, I could work hard to try and if I didn't like the results, then I could try and hopefully work hard to change some things, just so I could have more of. I guess it's scary, maybe, to know sometimes exactly how things are going, what's going to be the ultimate outcome of stuff, because, whatever it is, we should always just work hard and just, stay focused on your dream and doing positive things for your community. But, sometimes when you worry and you stress, it would be good if you knew, like, everything's going to turn out okay. I always tell myself, oh, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. But if I could see in the future and be like, oh, okay, my kids are good, everybody's happy, then I'd be like, oh, okay. that would take a lot of stress, off of my shoulders. But obviously, I don't have any superpower, right? We're only human, we don't have superpower. So what can we do? All we can do is be good people, right? In your cases, you guys should just study hard, right? Just be the best daughters and everything that you can be good to your parents, listen, and have a dream, have something that you're working toward, that you want to accomplish. And if you have that in your head and you work hard enough, there's nothing that you guys can't accomplish. And I can tell you're so sweet, the two of you. You're such good girls.
Thank you.
It's obviously it's a big compliment to your parents, because you just seem like really sweet, good girls. So I think that there's nothing beyond your reach. So dream big and go for it. You're gonna get everything you want in life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Henriquez from Long Island Girl Talk.
Hi, my name is Lauren Burke from Long Island Girl Talk.
And today we have interviewed Sylvia Cabana,
who is running for Hempstead Town Clerk.
Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here with you guys. I think you're both amazing young ladies, and I'm so sure that you're going to accomplish so much in your lives. Keep working hard, listening to your parents, being good students, and thank you again for interviewing me. I'm very honored.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Remember, it's so important. On November 7th, come out and vote. And my name is Sylvia Cabana, and I'm running for Town of Hempstead Clerk. Thank you so much.